Chapter 461, Condition. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. I failed. When the Orange Star emissary uttered these words, the whole Colosseum of the Martial Market stirred up again. Zhang Yuochen, the king of the new generation, really lives up to his reputation. He defeated Lu Fanchen in 11 moves and an emissary of Black Market Excellence Hall in 10. He's too strong. The two battles will surely be published in the next issue of the Eastern Region Report. At that moment, someone remembered the bet Zhang Yuochen and the Orange Star emissary had made before the battle. Juan Muxingling stood up with a smile. Orange Star emissary, you said that if you're defeated by Zhang Yuochen, you would be at his disposal. Are you going to keep your word? The Orange Star emissary took a long hard look at Juan Muxingling. I did say this. I won't go back on my words. Everybody was curious about how Zhang Yuochen would dispose of the Orange Star emissary. After all, it was a great merit to catch an emissary of the Black Market Excellence Hall. The Martial Market Bank and the Saint Academy would award huge prizes. It was assumed that Zhang Yuochen would send the Orange Star emissary to the Law Enforcement Hall of the Martial Market Bank and exchange her for merits. Tap, tap. Just then, a loud noise came from outside the Colosseum. A group of officers and soldiers in armor and tabard rushed in from outside. They lined up in 2 columns. All had reached the Heaven Realm. Each had a strong murderous feeling. A stout wild man walked out from the center of the 2 columns, with his hands clasped behind his back. His eyes radiated vigor. He had a straight nose and prominent cheekbones. His facial features were as if they had been split and chiseled by knife and axe. He was very masculine. It's Bukion Fan, one of the 6 great kings of the new generation. How can the sergeant of Tanwai Camp come to the Colosseum of the Martial Market? A young handsome man glanced at the 2 lines of sergeants and immediately recognized their identities. Tanwai Camp of the Ministry of War. Its name reverberated like thunder. Don't you see that person walking in the forefront? He wears the head of 100 Bannerman's silverfish treasure armor. He has an extraordinary temperament. He's barely reached the age of 20. Only Bukion Fan could become the head of 100 Bannerman of Tanwai Camp at 20 years old. What? Bukion Fan? Probably, Bukion Fan has come to the Colosseum of the Martial Market looking for Zhang Yuochen. How interesting. Both of them are kings of the new generation. A fight between them would surely be awesome. In fact, Zhang Yuochen and Bukion Fan have fought before on the stairway to heaven. Only at the time, they didn't use their full strength, so the winner wasn't identified. All the warriors present were excited. They were eager to watch a battle between Zhang Yuochen and Bukion Fan. Some young warriors admired Zhang Yuochen, while others worshipped Bukion Fan, the young god of war. Zhang Yuochen also saw Bukion Fan coming. He quickly took out his sword and hit vital A point on the Orange Star emissary's 9 meridian acupoints to freeze her. Although the Orange Star emissary could not move, she showed a strange look when she noticed Bukion Fan. Her eyes were squinted so tightly they nearly shut. Bukion Fan looked first at the Orange Star emissary, then at Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen, can I talk to you privately? Zhang Yuochen had an amazing observation ability. He was aware of the strangeness in Bukion Fan's stare. Zhang Yuochen had a hunch that Bukion Fan's visit to the Colosseum had something to do with the Orange Star emissary, rather than to challenge him. Of course, Zhang Yuochen nodded and stepped off the Colosseum. Bukion Fan took the initiative to walk up to him. A powerful genuine chi released from his body and formed a spherical domain enveloping the 2 men. He transmitted sound with sound waves. He secretly said, Zhang Yuochen, I'd like to save the Orange Star emissary. What are your conditions? Just tell me. It was true. Zhang Yuochen was not surprised. He looked Bukion Fan in the eye. Why? Bukion Fan mused for a moment. There was a tenderness in his eyes. Don't you want to know why I was defeated by Di Yi? It's because of her. She's a flaw in my heart. It turns out it was for a woman. Zhang Yuochen smiled, but he did not know whether he was laughing at Bukion Fan or himself. As the old saying goes, the hero is saddened by beauty. Even Bukion Fan, a strong-willed lion-hearted warrior, could be trapped in love. Zhang Yuochen said, okay, I can spare her life, but I have a condition. What's your condition? Bukion Fan asked. Zhang Yuochen said, source of spiritual fire, one of the 5 elements spirit treasures. If you bring it to me, I'll give her to you. Jiang Yuochen had already obtained 3 of the 5 elements spirit treasures. With the addition of the bloody scent cultivating soil mastered by Duanmuk Singerling, he only lacked the source of spiritual fire. Senpu Gentry had obtained the right to manage the 5 elements primitive world. Bukion Fan could certainly collect a large amount of the source of spiritual fire. With his status, it would not be difficult. Therefore, this condition put forward by Jiang Yuochen was not excessive. Killing the Orange Star Emissary would bring Jiang Yuochen a few rewards at best. Those rewards were unlikely to be as precious as the source of spiritual fire. Moreover, with her status in the black market, there was sure to be a great power behind the Orange Star Emissary. To kill her would mean offending that power. They would definitely eliminate him at all costs. Since Bukion Fan had volunteered to ask him, Jiang Yuochen did not mind doing him a favor at a small cost. How straightforward. Bukion Fan breathed a sigh of relief. I owe you a favor. In the future, if you need any help, please come to the Tanwai camp of the Ministry of Water. Find me. Having said this, Bukion Fan recovered his genuine chi and took the sergeants of Tanwai camp to turn and leave the Colosseum. The Orange Star Emissary was Bukion Fan's martial arts flaw. She was irreplaceable to him. If Jiang Yuochen had asked him to exchange all 5 elements spirit treasures, he certainly would have not frowned, never mind one source of spiritual fire. If Jiang Yuochen had refused to release the Orange Star Emissary, Bukion Fan would definitely have used force to take her. What happened? Why has Bukion Fan left? I can't believe Bukion Fan left after saying a few words to Jiang Yuochen. This isn't his style. What exactly did they talk about? Everyone was very curious about what had happened. They had used sound wave, so no one had heard their conversation. Xi Yunan came over and stood beside Jiang Yuochen. Brother Jiang, do you want to put the Orange Star Emissary into the deadlock of the law enforcement hall now? Although the Orange Star Emissary had been caught by Jiang Yuochen, they were in the Colosseum of the Martial Market, within Xiyunan's jurisdiction. If the Orange Star Emissary was sent to the law enforcement hall, Xiyunan would share the merits. It was precisely because of this that he was extremely eager to behead the Orange Star Emissary. Jiang Yuochen looked at Xiyunan. Why should I put her into the deadlock? I caught her, she's at my disposal. This. Xiyunan felt a little awkward and quickly said, the Orange Star Emissary is an important person. The masters of the black market will not let this go easily. It's safer to send her to the law enforcement hall. If they sent someone to rescue her. Jiang Yuochen immediately interrupted him, saying, say no more. I have my own arrangements. He took the Orange Star Emissary to leave the Colosseum of the Martial Market. Xiyunan wanted to stop them, but he dared not offend Jiang Yuochen too much. A warrior of the Martial Market Bank came over and stood beside Xiyunan, whispering, Elder Xi, what should we do now? Xiyunan's eyes were sunken and he revealed a somewhat eccentric smile. Jiang Yuochen is a hot-blooded young man. Although he's talented, he is still a man. He must take a fancy to the Orange Star Emissary and have wicked thoughts. An evil woman of the black market is extremely cunning. If Jiang Yuochen is tempted by her, she's likely to escape. The warrior was worried. Xiyunan nodded and looked dignified. We must not let that evil woman escape because of Jiang Yuochen's selfish desire. Go to the law enforcement hall now and ask Master of the Hall to take the woman personally. Only he can suppress Jiang Yuochen. I'll immediately bring people to the courier station of Martial Market, where he lives. We can't allow that evil woman to escape. Yes, Master. The warrior immediately jumped onto the back of a beast and whipped it. He rushed out heading toward the law enforcement hall. Come with me. Xiyunan brought dozens of warriors trained by the law enforcement hall. They gathered around Jiang Yuochen and the Orange Star Emissary like an iron bucket, for fear that the evil woman would escape. Duanmuk Singerling also followed, watching from a distance. She was quite puzzled. What on earth is the matter? People thought Jiang Yuochen was not sending the Orange Star Emissary to the law enforcement hall because he coveted her beauty and was stirred with carnal desire. But Duanmuk Singerling knew better. She knew Jiang Yuochen. She knew that he was not such a person. Back at the courier station of Martial Market, Jiang Yuochen brought the Orange Star Emissary to his room. Creak. He closed the door and calmly sat on a chair. He glanced at the Orange Star emissary and placed his finger in a random spot to unlock one meridian seal. The Orange Star emissary regained feeling in her forelimbs. She flexed her wrists and went to the window. She sneered. "What did he promise you?"